Hey, Silas here. Just a short video about something I was thinking about. One of my friends posted this thing about the Russia investigation that's going on Donald Trump, President Donald Trump of the United States, and said, "Why is this Russia thing still going on?" He was kind of like, "Seriously, is this Russia thing still going on?" And then I listened to some news coverage about the special prosecutor on this case and how he was given an open mandate. He was given, I think, one of the most open mandates ever, which was just investigate the Russia allegations. It wasn't investigate if Donald Trump was directly involved during the election, during the campaign, which is the last 2 years. It just said investigate these Russia allegations. So these Russia allegations it's open ended. It could be anything. The prosecutor apparently has pretty much carte blanche. He has an unlimited budget. There's no actual budget to say, okay, hold it within these financial means, or so he pretty much can dig anywhere. And I think the person mentioned that with the Bill Clinton, the former president Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky, that actually came from a special prosecutor that was put on to search for something else, and then he ended up stumbling across the Monica Lewinsky thing. So there is actually a danger here where technically this could lead to them finding information in all kinds of places. Like right now, they're going back to see who was renting apartments in the Trump Tower years ago, like decades ago. I think they're going that far back. So, what does that have to do with anything? Now, under this comment, I said, okay, under the article the person shared, I said, look, it doesn't matter. You might as well put that comment in Russian because that's how many people will be reached. People aren't necessarily following this Russia lead because they have actual information. It's a feeling. It's something they just want to get Donald Trump out of there. He's a white male, if you didn't know. And they have to get him out of there. He's evil. They have to get him out there. It's a belief. So I said, look, most people, it doesn't really matter. I'm sure there's probably still a 15% out there just getting wrong information. But for most people, it doesn't matter. And where he was posting on a social media network where most of the people kind of understand what he's saying. So somebody posted there, this Russia thing keeps releasing more information. And I started thinking, look, if you went through my trash, if you just went to the trash in this building I'm living in and went through that trash, you could find a lot of information about me and other people in this building. Now, that has nothing to do, that information you can find tons and tons of information. It has nothing to do with what we do in our jobs. Doesn't mean just because you find that somebody has hot pockets, it affects what I do in my work. It doesn't mean that I had anything to do with those hot pockets being in there. Could have a roommate. Somebody could have come to visit, brought hot pockets, and put it in the trash, then it's found in your trash. It doesn't mean I support hot pockets. It doesn't mean the reason for you digging through that trash to begin with isn't trashy to begin with. It doesn't validate the reason for you actually digging through that trash. So essentially what I'm trying to say is this digging through things will continue. And in that news story, they made a good point where something can be pulled out. Something will probably come out that will be enough for somebody to continue this more Russia narrative thing. And just think about this yourself. If somebody just started digging through your history, your past, your present, people around you, how much incriminating evidence could they find if they had pretty much an unlimited, if they pretty much did have a scope or focus on what they were searching for? What connections could be put there? And now on top of that, I'm trying to think now, you have people in the media who are saying, okay, look, now we're victims now. Now we're victims. Now people are looking through our things. And I'm thinking, okay, with Donald Trump, they say he's a public figure. He's the president, so you should be able to look through all this information. You should be able to dig through all these things. But then I was just looking at how Paul on Reddit and these different communities online have been uncovering information about people, or a news story comes out and then they come out and they just blow it out of the water with information. And you just think, look, somebody mentioned that, yeah, in the future they're going to look back and say Paul was the true FBI. And then I answered, yeah, in her story, they're going to look back and say Paul was patriarchy because, Paul, P-O-L, being a Pole. Yeah, anyway, getting back to the point. What I'm saying is the CNN people are saying, look, news reporters are saying, we shouldn't be subject to the same information. We shouldn't be subject to these same searches into our history. Are news personalities public figures? Am I a public figure? I have a blog that I've been writing since 2008. Some of the stuff I wrote back then might not be, it's definitely not things I completely agree with today. And I'm kind of thinking like, look, if I get out and I'm doing different things, how valid is it to go through that stuff and say, look, that has something to do with who I am today? Now, I might have changed on the thing, but those are things I actually released and put out in public. Now, if somebody goes in and reads or talks to somebody else where I was thinking through something and having a personal conversation with this person, and they pull that out and say, look, this has something to do with who Silas is today. Does it? I don't know. So what does it with these reporters? Now, if you have a standard where you can say, okay, with somebody like Trump, it's the news reporting industry, it's a media information complex, it's their responsibility to go out and research things about him so we can find out everything about his history and see if he ever talked to someone in Russia or anywhere else that has some negative connotations. Is that thing the same? Does that apply to people in the media? Because now you don't necessarily need that to be done by the FBI. This can be done by people on poll. People have time online. People can go in and find information about these people. With social media, you can contact people that knew these people. Information can be found about figures in all sorts of levels. Now, like small town mayors, I mean, they used to have the gossip things. You could gossip between people then. But now it's extended to the point where pretty much everyone could be subject to finding out a lot of information about what they do in their quote-unquote personal life, and how much does that affect what they do in their public life. Then who is open for this? Who should we as the general public demand information about their private dealings? When does something that somebody did as a private citizen then become applied to what they do as a public person, as a public figure? So these are questions that I think will continue to be asked, and I think we'll formulate more ideas and answers about this as the information age continues. I just wanted to share my thoughts on that, and yeah, till next video. Bye.